If you truly do this, it will transform your business in a way that nothing else you do does. So if you're a real estate agent that is struggling to get leads or wants to do more business, this podcast is for you. Or if you're a loan officer, same thing. If you're at a certain point and you want to do more business, or maybe you're just starting out, and it's all about getting the leads, right?
Yeah, exactly. Making those calls, getting the leads, the thing that really every salesperson, that's their number one objective of overcoming, right?
Is getting the leads.
Getting the leads.
Getting the leads.
Yeah.
With leads, you can do more business, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So look, there's a lot of tools that people have to get leads. There are lead generation systems. There's advertising. There's Facebook. There's all these different means to get leads. But I'll tell you, the most powerful way to get a lead, any guess what it is?
Talking to people?
Talking to people.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And how can you access the most people in the shortest amount of time?
Making calls.
Making phone calls. There's no way around it.
Yes.
So if you're already watching this thinking, oh God, I hate making phone calls, this is actually for you. All right. This podcast is for you.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about lead generation and prospecting and a proven method to do so. A proven method, empirical data that proves that this is a way. There's lots of ways from A to B, but this is certainly what I found most effective in the shortest amount of time. Prospecting is the art, or I should say the science and the art where they meet, of generating business, okay? And the way we're going to talk about today is through phone calls.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and I know a lot of people, I am not a professional salesperson by any means, but I know, I've been in our sales meetings and things like that. The call hesitancy,
right.
I know that's a struggle, and just picking up the phone and dialing, you know
right.
what I mean? So I think that's somewhat along the lines you're going to be talking about.
Oh, yeah. So
yeah.
we're going to get past all that call reluctancy thing. We're going to get past that, okay? And so what I'm going to talk about are 12 steps to a successful call block.
Okay.
I call it a call block, all right? Not necessarily a time block, but that's what you're doing. You're blocking out time to make time for this most important thing. Now, I'll tell you this. For years, if the business is just rolling in, right, and your job is to kind of grab the business and do as much as you can, like I'm talking about 2020 and 2021,
right.
Different problems,
Yep.
But the job was just to grab as much business as you could as it came in. Now that's shifted. You have to generate the business as a salesperson.
Yep.
And a lot of this forced a lot of people out of the industry because they were like, I don't understand. I'm doing all the same things, but I'm not getting the same business.
Right.
Well, now it's shifted. They actually have to go out and a lot of them. Maybe if you've been in the business a long time, you still get those calls in. But right now, it's a contact sport. It's a call game, right? And so, what are ways to be successful at that? And we've developed a 12 steps to a successful call block. Now, I will tell you this: it is more important to plan than ever for these things. Okay, so that's built into these 12 steps.
Okay.
You ready for them?
I am so ready for them.
Okay. So the first thing you have to do to have a successful call block, these are the 12 steps to have a successful call block. Now, you have to get out of your mind that time blocking doesn't work. That's wrong. Okay. Time blocking works if you use this method of doing it, but you have to be disciplined. It is not easy. All right. And think about it this way. I say set aside 2 hours to do this whole process, start to finish.
Okay.
And if you do 2 hours a day of call blocking, I don't care where your business is, it will make it better. It will transform it. If you truly do this, it will transform your business in a way that nothing else you do does.
Sweet.
Yes, I can. And I don't want to have a bunch of people out there to say, Joe, listen, I tried what you said and it didn't work. How many times you tried? Did you really do what's on here? Right. And by the way, we will put this down below in the description later.
Yes.
And but for those of you, this is the true explanation. So let's start here. Number one, you have to clear your calendar.
Okay.
You can't have anything else on there that would conflict with this. Okay, so first thing, that calendar's got to be clear. Whatever allotted time. If you're super ADD or like me, you maybe want to do an hour. Right? 2 hours is a lot. But maybe if you're so ADHD that you need those 2 hours, once you get going, you won't stop. Yep. Maybe that's for you. But peaking that time and clearing the calendar is absolutely vital.
And by clearing calendar, you mean nothing? Like
nothing
no checking emails?
No. We'll get into all that.
Right.
But nothing. You clear your calendar. So this time block, this calendar call block is the only thing on your calendar in that allotted time.
Gotcha.
All right.
Gotcha.
Number two, you have to have a list of people you're going to call. Right? That has to be, you have to have that list prior to starting the calls because you don't want to waste your time looking for the next person you're going to call.
Makes sense.
So that list can be comprised of past client database, You can get business from your past clients. It can be people you've talked to but haven't bought yet. It can be your sphere, your friends, your family, whoever might help refer you business. Whoever it is, that list has to be solid, name and number before you even think about starting that call. Okay. Number 3, you have to have a reason and an objective for the call. You can't just call and say, "Hey man, what's up?" There's no value there. Right.
Yep.
It's not structured. It's not intentional. It's not by design. So you have to have a reason and objective for the call. The reason, and you don't say this, the reason for my call today is, so it's the reason for your call might be very simple. Like you just want to touch base with your past client database to see how they like their home. Right. If you're a real estate agent, or if you're a mortgage loan originator, maybe it's reaching out to your past client database to see, same thing, if they're joining their home and if they wanted to get ready to do a refinance or something, okay? But you have a reason and objective on that call. Next, I'm going to read this one because I want to get it right. Be set and ready to go prior to the hour starting, whether it's an hour or 2 hours. The hour starts with the first phone call. So all your prep time, that's why I say block out 2 hours, because you want to do proper prep. You want to have everything prepped and ready to go, but the hour doesn't start. Your actual call hour doesn't start until you've made that first call.
The first call. Okay.
Now, this is hard for a lot of people. This one right here, by the way, if you're not a subscriber, like and subscribe now. Okay. Please. Just go ahead and hit those buttons now. Get that out of the way. And if you like it now, but if you come back and you say, "I didn't like it," just unlike it, but just go ahead and hit the like button now as well. All right, so don't get sidetracked with emails. Now, this is going to be the hardest thing for most people to do. Turn whatever system you use for email, whether it's Outlook or Mail or Gmail, turn it off. Turn it off 100%.
Yeah.
Do not look at your email while you're on this thing. And if you're worried about getting an email within that hour that has to be answered within that hour, you need to watch all of our podcasts because you haven't set yourself up for success. All right. So turn that Outlook off. Now, this one's tough. This next one, number 6, do not take incoming calls. Do not take incoming calls, even if they're people returning your phone call.
Interesting. Okay. And why do you say that? Because I would think, this is my call block. So if it's a call, that's still, that's still what I want to be doing during this time. So why would I not take incoming calls? Let
me take a step back. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that this call block is for prospecting.
Gotcha.
Prospecting. And prospecting is the art. I did say this, but it is the activity of getting new business. All right. So when you're calling that past client to see how their home is, one of the objectives should be to ask, who do you know, friends, family, coworkers who are looking to buy, sell, or buy or sell if you're a real estate agent, buy, sell, or refinance if you're a loan officer. And that question should really the goal of your call when you're prospecting.
Yep.
That if you're in real estate, if you're doing something else, if you're watching this, you're in a different industry altogether, then, whatever it is that you're looking for, that's the real goal. But if you truly enjoy these people and talking to them, that you do take an interest in their life, you're going to want to know about other things.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you're trying to get a name and a number for you to contact as a lead.
Right.
So that's the goal of prospecting. So the reason why I say don't take incoming calls is because if you called them, left a message, and they call you back, it stands to reason that you can call them back after your block, right? They are interested in returning your call. You don't answer it because then that's going to throw you off from getting through your list. So if they want to talk to you, call them back later. Make sure you get through your list first. And I know there's a lot of people out there right now that are saying, "Joe, that doesn't make any sense. That's not why you do a call block. You do a call block to talk to people."
Right.
It is, I hate to say this, it is a numbers game. You have to get through. If that person wants to talk to you, they might chat your ear off. And it might go against this one of the future rules I'm going to talk about, but I'll just bring it up now, is limit the time of call. If you get someone on the phone, limit that time to 5 to 7 minutes. Right? Because do not let that call linger. You think you're providing or building a relationship, but that can be done later. Now, this is the part that a lot of people get stuck on. You can add that, you can call them back after your call block and have that time with them. Now, if you start talking to someone and it sounds like that call is going to go for 20, 30 minutes, just say, "Listen, I'm bumping up against an appointment. Let me call you back this afternoon. What time works for you? I got 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 4 o'clock open." Well, now you have an appointment.
Right.
So it's okay to build relationships, but during your prospecting time, remember your goal is a numbers game. You want to have quality 5 to 7 minute conversations and hit everyone on your call block.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Is that call would kind of be outside the call block, and the call block is again meant for purely prospecting,
Purely prospecting.
reaching out to people.
Right. And you can build relationships in 5 to 7 minutes, but you have to be good at setting that next appointment with them. Maybe to come in, or maybe to have lunch or breakfast. Who knows? Whatever.
Right.
Do not work on work during this.
So what exactly does that mean?
Well, prospecting should be fun for you.
Okay.
So the eighth thing is do not work on, if you're a loan officer, don't be, writing up loans. Don't be thinking about other things other than what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're on the phone and you don't concentrate on the job at hand. Mm-hmm. Don't get distracted by anything else. I say work, like if you're a real estate agent, you shouldn't be putting in a listing, agreement into the MLS or putting in a listing on the MLS while you're reaching out. You shouldn't multitask is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
Because you should concentrate on the task at hand. It's truly the most important thing in your business is keeping your business going, right?
Totally.
So nothing else should get in the way of this.
Okay.
This one is, if you work in an office setting, this is number 9, I think. This one seems very logical, but close your door and do not let anything divert you from your objective. I say close your door. If you're at home, close the door. The kids, the wife, the husband, whatever, your spouse, they should know that when that door is closed and the sign's up, don't bother me. I'm making money.
Right. Right.
There's nothing that you do that makes more money than this. Closing a transaction does not make you more money than this because that transaction wouldn't be there if you don't do this. Now, again, different people get their business different ways, but I think most people would like to get their business on a reoccurring, predictable manner, and that's what prospecting allows.
Gotcha.
The next one, limit the time of your call. I already did that one. Okay, this is number 10. Leave time on your calendar after call block for follow-ups, promises from calls, and to call people back and respond to things that happen during your call block. Remember, if you close off your time for an hour or 2 hours, there's all this stuff going on around in the outside world.
Right.
That stuff typically can wait.
Okay.
Typically can wait. If it's an emergency, and here in this building, we have certain things that qualify as an emergency that you break your call block for. But they're very, very rare. I mean, think about our business. Unless there's something blowing up at the closing table, it can wait an hour or two. Now, there might be some agents thinking out there, I want my stuff handled now. And it typically is. I mean, there's a lot of people here for the agents to talk to. And if it rises to an emergency level, yes, absolutely. But for the most part, you need to block off time afterwards or allow time afterwards to do the follow-up calls or all the work you promise. Hey, I'll send you this. I'll send you that. Don't do that during your call block. Write it down. Hey, I promised them a CMA. Okay, if it's someone that's thinking about listing their house with them, that work should be done afterwards. If you just get one thing and go, okay, yeah, I got something, then your call block is blown.
Gotcha.
This is why call blocks fails. People aren't disciplined on these items.
Right. They're hitting all the Q1 tasks. They're doing all the things that seem like emergencies, but might not be.
They're doing the emergency stuff, but this is the stuff that keeps you, like if an emergency is a heart attack, I know this is one of your dad's favorite uses, but if the emergency is a heart attack, this is the eating right and exercise.
Right.
And if you're eating right and exercising or doing your call blocks, the emergencies are going to be different down the road. They're not going to be, I have no business. I need to go into emergency mode to get business. They're going to be, I have an issue with this inspection or this transaction. All of those things typically, if you do this in the morning, typically it can happen, you can call them back after lunch or right before lunch. But I like to get this done in the morning. Number 11, set goal for yourself and try to beat your score every week. Right.
Okay.
This last week I got 3 leads by calling 75 people or 125, whatever the number is. This week I'm going to try to beat that. Right. And the only way you're going to know that is to keep a scorecard.
Right.
So keep track your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, learn them because these numbers will help you be, if you're a powerhouse now, it'll just up your level. If you're a powerhouse and use these, great, good for you. You're doing the right things. Now this is the last one. Okay, this is the 12th one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Make the first 2 phone calls in the first 5 minutes.
Okay. And what's the reasoning for that?
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, why would you say that? This is a psychological thing. Because once you get past those first two, it gets very easy to get in that rhythm. It's the
Okay.
first, it's like if you've ever written a story, like remember being in school and you had to write an essay.
Yeah.
It's like that first sentence is always the hardest. Like, how do I
Totally.
get started? Once you get started, the stuff will flow out on paper. But getting started is typically the hardest thing. So I say make the first phone call, the first two phone calls. I say two to get the first one great, and then get the second one will get you the momentum.
Okay.
So just as a brief recap, you got to remove all the distractions. So don't take incoming phone calls. Keep your door closed. What was the other one? Turn your email off. If your email
Yes.
dings every time you get an email,
Yeah.
turn that off permanently. That is a waste of your life and time. The next thing, during the call, like I said, don't take the incoming calls.
Yeah.
5 to 7 minutes on the call. And if it goes longer, okay, it goes longer. But if it goes too long, set another time to spend some quality time with that person to help further that relationship.
Set that appointment.
Right? We're not cold-hearted here. We just have a purpose of trying to get through these calls in the most effective manner while presenting value to who we're calling. And don't let your call time linger, and allow time on your calendar after the fact to do all the things you got to do afterwards. Anything you promised, anyone that called, anything that came in during that time, you want to take care of it as swiftly as possible as to not lose customer service on your other deals. Right. And that's about it. If people can stay disciplined to doing this, I would all but guarantee their success, because I'd have to be there to see this.
Right.
But if people do this, if they do this on a regular and reoccurring, consistent basis, it is a business transforming item. There's nothing else that will transform your business like this.
Awesome. Yeah. And I only had one more question for you is what time of the day, I think you touched on it a little bit, would this call block be most efficient? And then how many times per week would you say?
Well, I would suggest doing it from 9, sometime, if you're 1 hour, whatever, but during the hours of 9 to noon. So in the morning hours is where I find it to be most effective. Some people say I do these in the evening. Whatever time is most effective for you. We've just found for when you're B2B, like if it's a loan officer calling an agent, typically it's the morning hours.
Sure.
If it's an agent calling a client or a loan officer calling a client, typically the morning hours still, but after work hours as well. But figure out what works for you. Now, you said consistency.
Yeah.
Well, if it's your job to generate business, whether you're a salesperson of any kind, I would say 5 days a week.
Sure.
Now, you might call different people every day. You're not calling the same 5 or the same people every day during the week.
Right.
But it's imperative that you do what you say you're going to do and keep up with it.
Yeah.
And the people you're calling should have, it should be enjoyable. These are probably people you took an interest in at one point in your life.
Sure.
And it should be catching up, but it also should be with a purpose of prospecting and increasing your business or generating referrals.
Yeah. And the only reason I ask that is because, if you do it once a month, it's probably not going to be that effective.
Probably not. It'll be more effective than you do it 0 times.
Sure.
But this is something if you're a salesperson, you should be doing daily. Now, the degree of it, maybe on Wednesdays, it's only an hour, whereas on Mondays, it might be 3 hours, right? But you stay consistent to whatever setup you've done. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Well, good. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All
That's
right.
all my questions.
So look, if you have any questions about how to execute this, check out below. We're going to have the information of all these 12 steps. Reach out to one of our loan officers. They should know this pretty well by now.
Yeah.
And if we can help you in any way, shape, or form, please let us know. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time.